Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Welcome to another Propnight video. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. This will be the tier list of my opinion, what is the strongest killers versus what is the weakest killers. We're gonna go from the S tier all the way down to the F tier. F tier being the weakest, S tier being the strongest. I'll explain along the way why I decided this way, why I decided to put them there. Let's begin. The first one we're going to start with would be the Possum. I believe Possum is the weakest out of all the current killers because one of his abilities is he spawns a dupe of himself and he can occasionally teleport to it, but survivors do still know, however, what's the real Possum, what's the dupe of his? It's kind of like with Aisha, it's the same situation there. So like it could be useful, but not really. And the other one of his abilities is a Sticky Bomb. Sticky Bomb is okay, but I feel like Sticky Bomb is not enough to actually carry you through the game and get you the 4 kills. The next one that I believe is stronger is the Clown. I think Clown has a pretty decent ability. It's not decent enough in comparison to other killers. One of his abilities, he shoots the blast of energy that damages survivors in front of him. So it's only direct damage, kind of like with the granny's knives. And the other one is the whirl, so he spins in circles and damages people around him. Like it's okay, it's decent enough, but due to the lack of map coverage, it makes it very rough to actually get kills like this. Like on a small map, he could be decent. But on a bigger maps, I find a huge struggle playing as him. The next one is Shinigami. Shinigami's ability, he can teleport to gens. He can spawn a dupe of himself, teleport to gens, and also on top of this, he can rewind time back and he can return to the original spot where he was a couple of seconds ago. The second ability, let's start with this one. The second ability that rewinds you back to the original spot, like, is okay, but I personally never use it when I play as him because people hardly return back. They sometimes do, but mostly they just loop you in the circle, and his ability doesn't last long enough to return you back to the circle where they already out looped you. The teleportation, however, is very good. But most times when you spawn a dupe, people in advance can see it and they just tend to hide, so it makes it a bit rough to actually teleport there for them to be oblivious and hit them. Next one, Granny. Granny, I put her on a C tier. In my opinion, she is not the weakest and not the strongest. She's roughly in the middle, but towards the weaker side. Because when she is in an invisible state, you can actually still see her. You can see her. She's very blurry. She's chasing after you. And you can still detect her quite easily. Her knives, they can unfortunately only hit large objects. You can try really hard to hit small objects. Small objects, it sometimes happens, but most times, honestly, it misses. So hitting big objects could be decent. Hitting small objects, however, could be very rough. Teleportation is a good ability, but sometimes they can hit you out of your teleportation. They just know that you're there and they just hit you. So for me, that happened a couple of times. I got stunned. They just seen me. I don't even know. As I used to love Granny, I used to play as her a lot, but since they released new killers, I don't play her as much. Next on we have Acacia. I put Acacia on a B tier because I do think her abilities are very solid. One of the abilities, she becomes as a shadow. She becomes like dark as a shadow and she teleports around, but during that state nobody can stun you, so you become invincible, and if survivors try to stun you, they're gonna fail that, and you can hit them straight after that, which I find super handy. The other one of her abilities is she does like a spin damaging people, and that one is also very good. Both of these abilities I think are very good. If you're a new player, I would suggest you give her a go because for the new players not many killers unlocked, but she's definitely the one that you can try and play, and it doesn't give you as much anxiety when you get stunned because you barely get stunned as Acacia. Nobody really goes in and tries to stun her knowing that she's invincible. Some people do, but they still fail, which is good. Next we have an Igor. That's the bunny with the chainsaw. I believe his ability is very good. It covers the map, so you can teleport from one side of the map to a different side of the map. Not teleport, but like drive your chainsaw around, which gives you a decent map coverage for the large maps and very fast moving around speed on the small maps. On top of this, he has bombs as well that can deal damage. If, for example, if you don't know where the survivor is, but you kind of suspect he's in the area, you can chuck the bomb and it might damage them, so that way you can easily find them. Also, the chainsaw deals insane damage if you drive into somebody with it. So he is very solid. Same as breaking the doors, when they close it on you, same as breaking any things on the way to stop you. He is solid killer. He's one of the very good beginner killers for sure. He takes some time to get used to, but when you do, he's very good. So if you don't want to purchase killers, if you don't want to purchase the pack, let's say, these two would be good. The next we have Maddie. Maddie's abilities are good. One of her abilities is she throws a sword, she teleports to it, and it does the map coverage. Very good. So you chuck the sword, let's say, not cross the map, but like relatively far from you. A, it can actually damage the survivor when you throw in it. B, you can teleport to it very, very fast, and you can damage the survivor once you get there. So you can actually dash between the distances super fast. And the other ability is the tracking. So when you press the button, it starts tracking the survivor in front of you for a certain period of time. And even if they change into a prop or a person or a different prop, you can still see them. She is insanely good. I have gone against her many times, and all of these times, the people that play Maddie were very good. They're like incredibly good at the game. I find her a very challenging killer to verse, as most people who play her, they're super experienced and they're very good at the game. So she's the kind of killer where you already played with the basic ones and you're thinking who to purchase. She would be the one that wouldn't take you too long to get used to. Since the release, she was very strong, and even nowadays she's still very strong. The next we have Banshee. Banshee is also in the A tier. I love Banshee. Banshee can jump and fly around, which is super cool. And the most important of her abilities is the one where, let's say you lost a survivor, but you think he's in your area. You just do a scream and they get damaged, and you can see where they got damaged. This is insanely handy. So if you lose them in the proximity of where you're standing, you can just scream and it's going to reveal them and damage them. This is so good. If you, for example, just walking around the map and you're trying to find somebody, you can just randomly scream, and sometimes it might damage somebody where you did not even expect them to be. So that is very good. The next and most important tier is the S tier. In my opinion, these killers are the strongest, and I would surely suggest mastering them. I would surely suggest playing as them and learning them, and for sure you will be winning the games. This is just how it works for me. I do win like 9 out of 10 games playing as them. It really depends on the team that you're going against. But let's go with the S tier, and I'll explain to you why I specifically put these killers there and why I think they're the strongest. The next killer is the Sheepman. Sheepman was one of the recent releases, and he is very good. One of his abilities is gas. So you use it when you see somebody in your area, you just use the gas. It doesn't matter what size they are, small or big, it starts dealing damage to them instantly. And if chasing up to them, you're using the gas plus hitting them, you almost guaranteed a down. On top of this, his second ability is a hook. You chuck your hook at whoever's in front of you, a survivor, an item, a prop, whatever you see in front of yourself. If somebody's rescuing from a chair, you throw a hook and you drag them towards you and you hit them. If they are as a survivor form, you almost guaranteed that you can catch them and down them. As a smaller item, it's a bit harder, yes, but as a bigger item or as a survivor form, in case if they're unlocking somebody or they're like sitting there repairing prop machine, you see them, you chuck your hook, you drag them towards you, you use gas, you hit them once, gas damages them, hook damages them, they downed. You are guaranteed that you're going to get a down, you are guaranteed that you can win. You just need to play as him quite a bit, but he is a very good killer. Here, you can purchase him with the Propnight supporter pack, or you can just save up 1000 coins and get him, but he is included in the Propnight supporter pack, which is super cool because he's one of the killers that I genuinely enjoy, and whenever I play Propnight as a killer, I play as him. He's one of my mains. I'll show you my second main in a minute. So my second main, and I believe as strong and one of the strongest killers in the game, is Imposter. Imposter was the original character that was released with the game, and he is incredibly strong. He can shapeshift into a survivor form, he can shapeshift into a prop. When you shapeshift into a prop, you become very fast, you can catch up to them very easily, then you snap out of it, you damage them. In the survivor form, you can trick them. You can start repairing a gen, they're gonna think that you're an actual survivor, then they run up to you and you damage them. Especially when you're versing new players, they very bad at countering Imposter. So going against the new players especially, Imposter would be so OP. And playing when you are new playing as an imposter is also very good. It's like one of these killers that once you get the game, you gotta start learning. With the time passing, doesn't matter what killers they release, I do still think the basic killer was so good. The concept behind it was just incredible. It's one of the killers that is simply just strong because he has the abilities of the survivors and they never expect him. Doesn't matter what map you're on, the big or small map, he will be good. He will turn into a prop, do a very fast map coverage, jumping around the map. He can turn into a survivor. He can shift sprint as well as the survivors. And they never know which one of them is a survivor, which one of them is an imposter. Obviously, if it's you sitting there looking like Kate and Kate runs up to you, you know it's not your teammate, you know it's an imposter. But otherwise, if you run up to somebody who's not looking like you, most times they're not gonna know that you're the imposter. Survivors do get a bit paranoid as well in the games, and that actually benefits you, because if they get paranoid, they start missing skill checks and they think that teammates might be the imposter too, and that makes them lose the game. Not necessarily works every time, but sometimes it does work quite a lot. I know myself when I go against imposter, I don't know who is who, genuinely, and I just get freaked out most of the time. It could be an item running up to me and I'm like, is this an imposter or is this a survivor? The strongest killers in this game, the top two, would be the sheepman and the imposter. I have explained why. Because the imposter has insane map coverage and his abilities are just great. Same as the sheepman, his abilities are absolutely great, and his ability to stop people from unlocking people from the chair by using his hook, his ability to guess the area to check where the survivors are. You can certainly walk around the map, turn on the gas, and sometimes you can actually find somebody. If you know somebody's in the corn but you don't particularly know where exactly in the corn they are, you just turn on the gas and you find them. It does deal quite a bit of damage, and when they turn into a person, I notice when I use gas, sometimes they turn into a person for some reason. They just shapeshift out of the prop into a person and they just try to run away, and during that moment you can use your hook to drag them into you. So if we compare all of these killers to each other, I would say Possum definitely, in a comparison to these guys, Possum definitely will be on the last spot. That's because his abilities are just not as strong as these guys. These guys are absolutely great. Same as these. This one would be okay if you are starting the game and you don't want to purchase any characters and you're very new to the game. Learning the game with these people would be very decent and it will give you the value for sure. But I'll still suggest, if you're new to the game, either start with her so you can dodge the damage. You can dodge all of the possible stuns and all of these things while dealing damage, and the imposter. For the new people, I would definitely suggest the imposter and Acacia. And for the people that have been in the game for quite a while, I would suggest, if you're still not playing imposter, please get back to him. Keep an eye on him. You're gonna enjoy playing as him the more you practice as him. And the sheepman is very good. These guys were the latest release over here. They genuinely were good, but the thing is, the more developers changed the maps, the bigger they became, the more complicated they became, and you need to be playing rather than you need to be playing hard, you need to be playing smart. And smart gameplay, there will be imposter and the sheepman, because I noticed, thinking about this entire situation from a perspective of it doesn't matter which map you're gonna get, right? So let's say for these killers, I'm thinking, okay, which map would it be good on? While these killers, I'm thinking like, okay, it doesn't matter which map I'm gonna go on, I feel like I can win. You know what I mean? Their abilities, they just are capable of carrying the game without you worrying about what map you're gonna spawn on. Because sometimes I did notice if I spawn a particular map with these guys, I would just be not that happy. So he would be good on like indoor, like a house map or something. But when you put him on an outdoor map, it's just simply too much for him. And his abilities are just not enough. Just absolutely not enough. And I see it as, from the S tier, if we look at it like that, the S tier, there will be the killers that don't really care about the maps. Same as the A tier. These killers, they somewhat care about the maps, and these killers, they really do care about the maps, because they need to be playing on specific, preferably smaller maps in order to win. And that is just my opinion on these killers. This is just my tier list. These are the killers that I prefer to play, and I did notice, I have played everybody, and I did notice that particularly these two, I do get the most wins on. If not every single game, I get quite a lot of wins at these guys. They are just simply very good. So in the S tier, we have the sheepman and the imposter. In the A tier, we have Muddy and Banshee. And the B tier, we have Acacia and Igor. In the C tier, we have Granny. D tier is the Clown and Shinigami, and F tier is Possum. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope it did help you, and I do hope you did really enjoy. If you do have any questions, just drop it in the comments and below. Give it a like to show me your support. Thank you very much, and I hopefully will see you in the next one.